This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, I'm Regan Garza. I am the host of the Momversations podcast, where we just love to hear mom stories. We love to connect with moms. We really see a lot of value in the mom who, it's a funny stage of life to be in because motherhood is universal. That's how human beings are on our planet. But each mom is having such a unique journey. And in order for us to really connect and love one another and come together as a MomUnity, as we like to say, which is, a whole different thing than just a community, we really need to know each other and be aware of what's going on in each other's lives. And so Rachel has agreed to come on our show today and share her mom story. Welcome, Rachel.
Yes, thank you so much, Regan. I am so excited to be here. I am new to MomUnity, and I have loved all of it that I've seen so far. So I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk a little bit about myself. It's always fun.
Well, and the funny thing, even though your story is unique, is really, though, there are going to be women who connect to it, who hear bits and pieces and say, oh my goodness, that is my situation. And they're going to be able to learn and grow from you having, trod on your path, so to speak. And they'll just learn, even if they're not in exactly the same situation, there's just things that you are bringing to the table that are valuable, kind of like a potluck or something, right?
I do love that. Yes, I've learned lots from my friends, and yeah, I'm glad to grow and learn more about others and share my story as well. I feel like I've got some things to share. So perfect.
So we're going to just start with the basics, like how many kids and what stage of life you're at, married, job, things like that.
Hi, so I'm so sorry if there's background noise. I've got girls running around. I have.
Well, we're all just real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Real. They are laughing, so I'll take it as a win. So their crying starts, that I get worried. But I have two incredible girls. I have one who is 6. Her name is Emmeline. And then my other is 3. She actually turns 4 this month. And so every day she wakes up going, are you coming to my birthday party? Is Maximo coming to my birthday party? Is Cambry? So she's got her running invitations, and it's just the cutest thing. So we'll be having a 4th birthday later this month. And then my husband and I have been married for just over 6 years. We actually got married 3 weeks before Emmeline was born. It's a bit of a whirlwind and kind of a crazy story, but it was awesome. Very much still in love with him, thank goodness. He is very sweet. I know there's the stereotypical, boy mom and girl dad, and he loves being a girl dad, and we'll do the makeup and the nail polish and the comb your hair, and he is just all in 100%, which is just another reason why I love him. So love having a house of girls. It is fantastic. Highly recommend. Yeah.
That's great.
So we, oh, sorry. My husband and I actually met when I was just out of high school. So I'm 33 right now. So it's been a few years. I met him when I was at my friend's wedding, and I was a bridesmaid, and he had actually served an LDS mission in the area and had been missionary companions with the groom. And so the bride, she is actually such a sweet friend, and she has matched quite a few of her friends with their husbands and wives. And I am one of them, so she has a pretty strong record going on. But we met and we kind of dated a little bit. I was going to school, and so we were living about 4 hours apart from each other, and it just was not the time for either of us to keep moving. So we just kind of disconnected. Nothing bad. I mean, always had nice things to say. Um, and then I started dating this other person while I was in school. And it was really just not a good relationship. It was very toxic. And I, was 20 years old and thinking, oh, this is what love is. He was older. Um, and so basically every definition that I had of love came from what he told me it was. And that, fortunately, is not the best way to go about it. And so it did end up getting very manipulative. It got physically abusive for a while, and it was just really awful. And I remember I was just thinking, well, I had chosen to be in a relationship with this person. And so this is just these are the consequences of my actions and my choice. So I need to deal with it. I am so sorry. You guys cannot be.
Oh, no need to apologize.
I am in a
I'm always ready to do a little Mama Bay commercial if I need to while a mom goes off to attend to her kiddos. So
Yes.
I can jump
Told you, you can get that.
about concepts that
It's in the garage or no, it's on the table downstairs. You go grab it.
It's work sometimes. And so here at Mama Bay, we really encourage moms, yes, like she was saying, to become all the more aware of relationships and how they can go awry. So thank you for being vulnerable and being willing to share your story.
Thank you for being patient and all the things that come with being a mom. But yes, so I was in this relationship that was not great and was just thinking, well, this was my choice. I kind of dug my grave and now I need to lie in it. And then I ended up, I was at work and ended up telling my boss and was just like, I don't know what to do. This is too much for me to handle on my own. And so I had a safety plan kind of in place, and I ended up we were pregnant, or I was pregnant, and so I was just absolutely terrified. And a big reason of why I decided I needed to leave was because this was my choice and this is what I had done, and I had to accept the consequences of my actions, but this was not my baby's choice, and this was not something that they needed to grow up experiencing, and they didn't need to watch these types of things. So it was actually really interesting because I had gone to school for family life and human development, and I had seen all the red flags of this is this is an abusive relationship, this is toxic, this is what you shouldn't do, this is what you should avoid. And I'm like, oh yes, but that's for other people, not for me. And so and then it really did come down to I wasn't leaving for myself, I was leaving for my baby. And so I did leave. I had all the support in the world, and it was still the hardest thing I have ever done. And I commend anybody who leaves in any situation, whether you have the support or you don't. It is an impossible decision. It's my life, my work, I had been in this relationship for 6 years. It was basically starting over. And so I left. I lived with some relatives in California for a little while and was just kind of deciding, what am I doing? I'm in no business to raise a baby. I love kids, love babies, and loved my baby so much. And it was just everything just seemed impossible and too big to handle. So I did end up moving back home with my parents, and I had so much anxiety just with threats that had been made. And I mean, he knew the ins and outs of everything about me. And I felt like it was, he was in my brain and could think of, I don't know, it's crazy how they get in your head, but they do. And so I thought for sure that, even if I could get away, it was only temporary and things would only be for a little bit. I wasn't actually safe. I wasn't actually in a good spot. But I just kept trudging along, and a lot of it was, okay, I'm going to stop the cycle here and maybe we'll have a better life, whatever that looks like. I don't know, but it will be better. Um, and I had a hard time sleeping, as you can imagine, with PTSD and just all the things that were going on. So I would stay up, and I had deleted all my social media, everything. And so I would use my mom's Facebook account on her laptop, and I would just look up old friends from high school, old friends from, camps, and everybody. And a lot of it was like, oh, see, they didn't make bad decisions and they're in a better spot than me. And so it was definitely like, the 3 a.m. wallowing in self-pity. Um,
Oh,
but as I was looking, I looked at my friend that I had been her bridesmaid, and I saw Jovan. So um, it was just the funniest thing because I think about it now and I'm like, that is the cringiest thing I could have done. But I messaged him from my mom's Facebook at 3 a.m. and it was like, hey, this is Rachel. I'm using my mom's Facebook. Do you remember me?
oh, cute.
It was the 3 a.m. no sleep brain talking for sure. But it was so funny because he called me the next morning and was so excited to talk to me, and I was just baffled. I'm like, nobody wants to be my friend right now. There's no way. And a lot of the from the relationship was, I wasn't good enough to have close friends, and if people really knew who I was, then they wouldn't actually like me. It was, just very manipulative. And so when Jovan was so excited to talk to me, I really didn't believe it at first. And I was like, okay, well, he needs to know that I'm pregnant. He needs to know that I'm not like looking for a relationship, that I just want like just a friend. That was all I wanted.
Yeah.
And he was just so supportive about everything. And so we ended up, he asked me out, and I was like, you don't want to go out with me. There is no way you want any of this hot mess right now. And he's like, no, like we can just go out as friends. Like it doesn't need to be anything. He's like, I just want to have the time to get to know you, kind of catch up and stuff. And I, of course, had just gotten out of this horrible relationship. So I'm like, well, I'm not going anywhere with anybody one-on-one. And so our first date was a double date with my parents. And again, he was just a trooper through all of it, was so sweet. We joke around because at one point, I don't know what came up, but something where my dad talked about something that could have been like a little bit sensitive. It wasn't, but it could have been taken that way. And Jovan reached across and held my dad's hand. It was like, it's okay. And we just crack up about it all the time. Like he held my dad's hand before he held my hand. He went on a first date with my parents. And he just, jumped. Again, with being a girl mom or a girl dad, just jumping all in. There was no toe dipping. He was all in on everything. So after dating just for 2 months, maybe, he was like, I would like to marry you. And no, you really don't. Trust me, you don't. He's like, well, I know, I feel like this is right, and I want to be part of your life, and I love your baby, and I just want to be involved. I want to be there. And I was like, there's no way. Like I'm jumping out of this, jumping literally like running away from a relationship and then getting right back into a marriage. Like I hadn't been married before. It was just this massive commitment. I'm like, I am not in a place for this. And honestly, I feel like a lot of it was I did not trust myself, but I trusted the people around me. And my
Yeah.
mom was very sweet with him, and she was like, well, it's really soon, so I don't know that this is the best idea. And my dad was like, there's no good time to get married. It's like, he's like, this, you're not going to have a perfect relationship. You're not going to have a perfect marriage. Like, you just decide if that's what you want or if you don't. Like, okay, well, here we go. So we got married, and it was just, we planned a wedding in a month because he was very much do you want to get married before baby or after baby? It's entirely, very, very much. It was so fast, but it was very much I had the reins, which is so funny to say because I hadn't for so long. But we got married. We had a wonderful 3 weeks of being married, and then Emmeline came, and it was very sweet. I could not pick out a name. I thought of the name Stoller, which was my grandma's maiden name, and she was just an incredible, the epitome of perfect wife, perfect mom. That was her to a T. And so I was set on Stoller. I have two brothers, and they were teasing me like crazy about Stoller, stroller. We stole her stroller, and it's like, oh, I can't put my kid through this. So I had no name for this baby. And then my mom, we were looking, at the baby name website, and she found Emmeline, and she was like, oh, it means peaceful home. Like, how sweet is that? So my sweet Emmeline has brought peace to our home, and there is chaos in the peace, 1000%. But she has absolutely been just that source of peace, love. I mean, she's just, we call her my sweet girl because she is very sweet. Even when she's not, she's very sweet. She's just, I mean, so cuddly. And a lot of, going through therapy and dealing with the aftermath. And my ex did end up finding me and took me through court. We got to go through the whole ringer of that, which was just miserable and so emotional. And it's like you want to combine postpartum hormones with being a newlywed and going through a custody battle, and it gets a little chaotic. So I was very grateful for my little baby to bring some peace to my very chaotic life at the time.
I interrupt, ask if he succeeded in getting custody.
Yes, that is the part that is so baffling. So we currently have 50-50 custody. I did have a protective order in place, and that was valid against me. The reasoning behind the court was that he had hurt me, and so I could have a protective order, but he had never hurt Emmeline directly, which blows my mind because I was pregnant when some of the violence happened. And so there are just definitely some laws that I found out the hard way are not made to protect victims. And so I was not going to be protected. I was going to create my own protection. And so Jovan and me and Emmeline lived at my parents' house for a few years. We were planning on 1 year and it ended up being 4 or 3.5, almost 4. And it just was very, I can't control anything that happens when I walk outside the door, but I can control what's in my house. And we will not be a family that yells. I mean, I wish I could say that was true 100% of the time, but sometimes I need to get my kids' attention. But we don't yell at each other. We don't berate each other. We don't insult each other. And we all make mistakes. I've made plenty. Emmeline has made some. Jovan has made some. We're just racking them up. It's like, Pokemon, gotta catch them all.
Right.
But we have just decided that we want a peaceful home, and so we will not hurt each other's feelings, and we can apologize. We can admit when we're wrong. We can do better. If we need to have a night to sleep on it before we can wake up and be calm, then we can do that. And we are a team. I think that's the biggest thing that we work on together, is that our family is a team. And teammates fight. They don't always get along. We don't always have the same strategy. But we are there for each other, and we will celebrate the wins, and we will get through the hard things. And I think about it a lot because when I was in the relationship, I was so just, this is it. I'm on my own. This is by myself. It is what it is, and I just need to figure out a way to live with it. And leaving it has been just a huge sense of freedom, even with, being tied to somebody and having restrictions on, school districts and, deciding to pierce ears or not, or haircuts. I mean, there are so many things that you can fight about that it just gets a little crazy. But even with having that barrier of, there's this other person that I need to get along with and co-parent with, I feel so free. I can talk to the friends that I want to talk to. The biggest thing that has been surprising to me is that, one, you don't have to know your deep dark secrets to like somebody or to not like somebody or to be a friend. Like, I have friends that I don't know everything that they've been through, and if they feel like they want to tell me, I'm more than happy to listen, but that's not a requirement for friendship. I can love somebody with or without knowing everything about them, and that's okay. And there's kind of a beauty in it of, you don't have to, have all the layers stripped away, and you don't have to expose everything to still have a friendship and have a bond and to feel love and to give love. Um, and Jovan has been incredible. I feel like I have just gotten so many friends since leaving, and I thought that was insane because I was just this person with this messy life and these horrible mistakes and bad choices and everything. And now I have a list in my phone of, okay, if I'm having a bad day, I can talk to Marley and Whitney and Jessica and Kelsey. And it's just, and it keeps growing too. Like, I love meeting new people and new moms and people who aren't moms, people who want to be moms, people who don't want to be moms. Like, it's great to have that variety. And I think a huge part of it too is I'm not burning out one friend. I don't have my one best friend that is meeting all of my needs. My mom, of course. Well, she is that. I do burn her out, I'm sure. But really, I've got a nice variety, and I love all of them. And we all have different views, and we have different beliefs, and it's perfect how it is. It's perfect in its imperfection. And so, being able to step away from this relationship, run away from this relationship, and to get so much more, even though, dealing with 50-50 custody and missing out on, birthdays and friend parties and that kind of things. Like, there are things that she misses, and there are things that I wish I could give her that I can't. And I would still take this situation over being in a relationship with him every time, to have that distance. And I've had friends that have asked, how are you doing this? It's so hard. Like, I would much rather deal with him in this situation where there's the separation than to keep fighting and to, keep forcing myself to be in that type of situation. So it has definitely been a learning experience. Lots of, am I enough? And it doesn't matter if I'm enough. It doesn't. I am not enough in many situations, and I am more than enough in other situations. And so it is really, really, being enough or not being enough is irrelevant, because I love my kids, I love my husband, and they love me back, which is awesome. The best win ever is to have my kids and my husband love me so much. But yeah, definitely just been a huge relief to have just kind of that inner peace of, I'm not getting it from anywhere else. I'm not relying on a toddler to bring me peace. I'm not relying on a 6-year-old to bring me peace. I have it on my own. I have the people that I love, and I will just keep fighting for that. And I want to fight to have my kids have that peace as well, and hopefully grow up in a peaceful home. I'm doing the best, but sometimes it's very chaotic.
As I think about Emmeline going to be 50-50 with the man that you have so much trouble with, is there some kind of safety in place? Like, do you just check for bruises every time she comes home? Or what does that look like to be able to trust him enough to carry out that?
Yeah. And that really has been, it's been very difficult, because I'm sending my baby. The first time that she went to his house was when she was 17 days old. That is baby. So luckily my dad was able to go, and so it wasn't a court ordered supervision, but supervision was allowed, and of course I was going to take advantage of that. Um, it really is just, I can only control what happens in my house and what happens with my relationship with Emmeline. And but I mean that's the best I can do, and I will give it my best. So um I do appreciate he has taken on more of a Disneyland dad approach. So she always has new toys, always has the latest and greatest, has the smartwatch, has she got her a $2,000 bike, and, sent me pictures. Like, I'm glad. I would much rather take that than I mean, than what I experienced with him. So I will appreciate that her needs are met. She has clothes, she has food, she has toys. Um, and that's that's all I can demand.
Yeah.
If it was anything
And you
less
can,
than that, there would be more of an issue, but she has her basic
yeah,
needs met, and when she is here, she knows that she is loved, and she knows that she can be honest with me. She can say things I know there, I mean, he does drill her quite a bit about what happens at our house, and, questions about Jovan and questions about Gracie, and just, what do you do? Where are you going? Who are you with? And it's like, we don't have anything to hide. You don't have to share anything you don't want to, but it's not a secret. It's just a personal choice that if you don't want to share, that we went to the dog park, or that we went here, that we did these things, it's okay. Um, and if you do want to share, that's fine too. You do what you need to do to be safe over there. And I will take the fight. So if there is something that he's upset about or frustrated, then he can address it with me, and I will address it. And it's not something that it's not something that any child needs to do, whether they're 6 or 60. The parents can handle that part. And as much as it sucks, that part I have, that part I will take, and they are the consequences of my actions, and I will take the fall for it. And again, just have set my own boundaries of, I don't talk to him at all on Sundays. I don't have any contact whatsoever. If there were an emergency, obviously that would change, but I don't respond, and I don't read anything on Sundays. And it's all over text. Everything's in writing. We have tried phone calls a few times, and sometimes it's been successful, but in general, I will just stick to text. So it's all in writing, and I just find my own boundaries and what I need to do to protect my peace, protect my girls' peace. And yeah, I think one of the things that was a little bit difficult was Emmeline asked if I loved her dad, and I don't, and I don't plan to. And I have told her that the relationship that I have with him is not the relationship that she has with him. She is allowed to love anybody she wants. Love is
yeah,
unlimited. It can grow, it can stop growing, it can shrink. um, and just as she is allowed to love whoever she wants, I can love or not love whoever I want. And we don't have to love people who hurt us. We can be kind, we can be respectful, we can do what we need to do, what we are obligated to do, whether it's legally or as a parent. Um, but we are not obligated to love anybody. And I think that is something that I've struggled to learn, because especially I mean, growing up in 90s and 2000s, it was all, be kind and love everybody, and just be kind more than anything else. And so it really kind of gives away a piece of ourselves, or at least for me, it gave away a piece of myself of I need to be kind. I have to be kind. I need to love everybody. You don't. You really don't. It's okay to not love everybody. I mean, if you
And
can love more, that's
yeah.
always great, but I don't need to forgive him. I don't need to love him. I don't need to do anything more than what I'm absolutely obligated to. And that keeps me safe. I've got plenty of love in my life, other places. I don't want it or need it from him or to him.
I feel like as I listened to your story, that is one of the things that really did stick out to me was you coming, you were at rock bottom and you were coming from there, but it really was a moment of victory for you to choose to exit that relationship, even though it was extremely difficult and you probably felt like you were so weak, but then you were showing how strong you really were to be able to exit. And even amidst the pregnancy and the unknowns and the moving to a different state, and like there's just so much there that you were managing with muscles that you didn't even think you had, you know? I think it's beautiful then that you started gathering friends and you started realizing somebody will talk to me, even if it's through my mom's Facebook at 3 a.m. You know, there was something inside of you that sparked that hope and helped you recognize you were worth it, and that and I would like to give a little credit to your mom for that. I feel like she, by welcoming you back into her home and making sure that you had that safe zone, you know, and letting you Facebook, right, to rebuild and to reach out and find those people from the pictures of your best friend wedding, you know.
That is very true. Yeah, it's just being able to make those connections, and yeah, it's so isolating, and I mean, just deep down, I mean, definitely for me, I'm sure other people feel this, but it's like we just have this longing to have some type of connection with people around us, and I had none when I was in that relationship. He would search my phone. I wasn't allowed to talk to friends or family, or I mean, it's tiny steps. It didn't all happen at once. But by the time I left, it was very much this is awful. And so, yeah,
Wow.
having those connections, it saved my life. Absolutely. And it's wonderful. And I hope that I can give those connections to others as well. And not that anybody needs to be in that situation, but if they are, that they know, you can start over. It sucks. It is miserable. It is the worst thing, but it gets so much better. I can't even describe how much better.
Yeah, to share that hope, and now you're going through another thing you mentioned before we started recording of your house getting flooded.
Yes.
You're able to roll with that because you've built up that ability to, manage the hard things. And,
yeah. Yes, it does come with a very morbid sense of humor, which is awesome. Anyone who gets that deep, dark humor, those are my people.
Yeah, that's well, I just wanted to give you another minute or two to share with us anything that sticks out about motherhood and how it's helped you overcome those challenges, how motherhood helped you build resilience and hope. Anything else that you would like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I was pregnant with Emmeline, my mom planned this just beautiful baby shower, and I was so, wallowing in self-pity, and this is, I mean, what am I doing? This is awful. And I had so many people show up, and I was just so impressed because like, wow, all these people here love my baby already, and she's still in there kicking, like she hasn't even come out, and she already has so much love in her life. And I just thought of that of, if she already has this much love in her life, then she is meant to be great. She is meant to do great things. She is meant to be a great person. And I mean, my whole life was revolving around Emmeline at the time. And it took a while, but I am also somebody's baby. I also was in my mom's tummy, and people loved me even before I was born. And if I can feel that towards Emmeline, then why am I not deserving of that? Like, why am I not meant for great things? And it's it's been a long time coming, but I am also meant for great things, and I'm not sure what that means, whether it's sharing my story or just being the mom to my perfect kids. But I am meant for great things, and I have a purpose in life, and there is there's just so much peace that comes with that I've got this divine potential, and I want to explore that and see what that is. And just as I'm growing and learning, Emmeline and Gracie are growing and learning, and we can all do that together and make it fun. It's so fun. It's very chaotic, so fun though. I do love being a mom.
Well, I love how it sounded almost like a cycle that happened in your heart of you feeling it so strongly for Emmeline even before she was born, and then being able to look back and connect that to your mother's pregnancy with you and realize that her love started back then, even before you were born.
Yes.
I love that.
It is wonderful. And my relationship with my mother has grown so much since being a mom myself. So yeah, I have learned so much, but the best thing is just that I am allowed to have joy and happiness and peace in my life.
You are allowed. And by sharing the story where that came from, the darkness that you had been experiencing, I think you are now giving that permission to anyone and everyone else. That they are, whether they know you or are just hearing this podcast, they're then able to pull from that, and you're sharing that strength with others that you might never meet in person. And I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for taking time today to participate in our little podcast. We're always so grateful for the people who come and share their mom stories. And on that note, I'd like to invite anybody who's listening, if they have a story to share that will, like Rachel's story has, that will be uplifting and give hope to moms. I love how Rachel has continued, even though she's on this beautiful, definitely a different place than she was 6 or 7 years ago. She's still aware that there are the downs, like when she talks about the peace, but it also has the chaos, right? So it's a realism that still can shine with the hope and the joy and the comparative peace, right?
Yes.
That's a really powerful message, and I'm glad you took time to share it with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.